Okay, so you're thinking about becoming a horticulture production team leader,
Uh-huh.
and you've been checking out RoleCatcher's
All
resources.
right.
Good call. They've got a ton of info on this.
Yeah, they do.
But you know me. I like to get to the good stuff quickly.
Yeah,
Kind of insights you wouldn't find just browsing a job board.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
what I think is really interesting here is how this role, it goes beyond just,
Mm-hmm.
knowing your plans. Like you're diving into leadership,
Yeah.
problem solving, even navigating the fast-changing world of horticulture.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot more dynamic than I think people realize.
Right. It's not just about, having a green thumb. It's
Yeah.
about leading a team in a field that's constantly evolving.
Totally.
And speaking of evolving, I was really interested in the career guide's emphasis on adaptability.
Mm.
What's your take on that?
It's crucial. I mean, think about it.
Okay.
Vertical farming.
Right.
It's booming.
Yeah.
A team leader might need to shift from, those traditional soil-based methods
Mm.
to managing these high-tech hydroponic systems.
Wow.
That's a whole new world,
Right?
requiring new skills and new ways of thinking.
Wow, that's a great example.
Yeah.
And it makes those professional organizations that they listed seem even more important.
Mm-hmm.
Staying connected and updated is key in a field that's constantly changing.
Exactly. It's not enough to know the basics anymore. A good team leader needs to be on top of trends, new technologies, best practices. It's a
Yeah.
continuous learning process.
For sure.
Yeah.
And speaking of being prepared,
Yeah.
did you see RoleCatcher's sample interview questions?
I did, yeah.
They even give you pointers on how to answer them, which I thought was super helpful.
Oh, for sure.
Um,
They're so helpful.
what did you think?
Those questions are spot on.
Yeah.
They really make you think on your feet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how would you handle a conflict between team members,
Oh, that's a good one.
right? Or how do you ensure quality control
Yeah.
when you're overseeing an entire greenhouse operation?
Right. It's a big job.
Yeah.
It's not just about, identifying a pest.
Right.
It's about making decisions under pressure, leading a team,
Exactly.
understanding the business side of things.
Totally.
Right.
You need to demonstrate leadership qualities,
Mm-hmm.
problem-solving skills,
Yeah.
and a genuine passion for horticulture. It's a demanding role, but incredibly rewarding for the right person.
Speaking of rewards,
Yeah.
the potential for career growth seems pretty impressive.
It is.
You could work your way up to managing larger teams,
Mhm.
specializing in a specific area of horticulture.
Absolutely. You could even start your own business.
Wow.
The guide outlines a clear path, starting as a production assistant, then becoming a senior team member, and finally leading the charge as a horticulture production team leader.
That's quite a journey.
It is.
When I was looking at all this,
Yeah.
the sheer variety within this field really struck me.
Mm-hmm.
What stands out to you as the most surprising or intriguing thing about this career path?
You know what I find fascinating is how this role combines hands-on work with strategic thinking.
Yeah.
One day, you could be coordinating planting schedules. The next, you're troubleshooting a disease outbreak.
Mm.
And then you're leading a team training session.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's amazing how this field blends science and leadership and even a bit of artistry.
And it really does.
Speaking of the journey,
Yeah.
let's unpack those stepping stones on the path to becoming a horticulture production team leader.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
RoleCatcher does a really good job
Right.
of outlining that progression.
Yeah.
It's easy to get fixated on, the end goal,
Right.
but understanding those incremental steps can be really helpful.
Yeah, it's like you don't just wake up one day
Right.
and find yourself in charge of a whole greenhouse operation, right?
Exactly. You start with a solid foundation
Yeah, right.
as a production assistant.
Okay.
It might sound basic,
Sure.
but this is where you learn the ropes, planting, watering, harvesting, all those essential tasks
Yay.
that keep a greenhouse running smoothly.
So it's all about mastering the fundamentals,
Yeah.
getting your hands dirty, literally.
Literally.
I imagine attention to detail is crucial at this stage.
Oh, absolutely. A good production assistant is meticulous.
Okay.
They're the ones ensuring a clean and organized workspace,
Mm-hmm.
following safety protocols, learning to operate equipment properly.
Yeah.
It's about building good habits from the get-go.
And I bet those habits make a big difference when it comes to things like
Oh.
preventing the spread of diseases or ensuring the crops are harvested at the right time.
Precisely. It's about understanding that even the smallest tasks
Right.
contribute to the bigger picture.
I like that.
And as you prove yourself as a reliable team player,
Mm-hmm.
You move up to the role of junior production team member.
Okay, so tell me more about that transition. What changes at this stage?
Well, this is where you start taking on more responsibility, going beyond just doing the tasks
Mm-hmm.
to understanding the why and the how behind them.
So less about following instructions and more about applying knowledge.
Exactly. You're monitoring crop growth,
Mm-hmm.
identifying potential issues, pests, diseases,
Mm-hmm.
nutrient deficiencies,
Right.
and you're working with a team to implement solutions.
Okay.
This is where that foundational knowledge really starts to matter.
You can't just call the supervisor every time a leaf looks a little droopy, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're becoming a problem solver,
Yeah.
making decisions based on your observations and what you've learned.
And I bet that's incredibly empowering, especially for someone who's passionate about plants.
I think so.
It's like leveling up your plant parenting skill.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
And just like a proud plant parent, seeing those crops thrive under your care is incredibly rewarding.
Ah.
But as you gain experience and confidence,
Mm-hmm.
you're ready for the next challenge,
What's that?
becoming a senior production team member.
Okay, so we're entering leadership territory now.
Yes.
What does that shift look like?
This is where those soft skills we talked about earlier come into play.
Okay.
Now, you're not just managing plants, you're managing people.
Right.
You're training new team members, mentoring junior staff,
Mm-hmm.
setting a positive example for others to follow.
So you're the one sharing those hard-earned insights, those little tricks of the trade that can make all the difference in a real-world setting.
Exactly. You're a leader, a mentor, and you're also responsible for ensuring the team is operating efficiently and effectively.
Mm-hmm.
You're conducting inspections, maintaining quality control, and addressing any issues that pop up.
Which, let's face, it happens all the time in horticulture.
Oh, all the time.
Mother Nature has a mind of her own.
That's an understatement.
Mm-hmm.
A sudden frost, a pest infestation, equipment malfunction.
Right.
You need to be adaptable, resourceful, and a calming presence for your team when those curveballs inevitably come your way.
Talk about a crash course in leadership under pressure.
Yeah.
So you've mastered the technical skills, honed your leadership abilities, and navigated your fair share of unexpected challenges.
It's quite a journey.
What's
Yeah.
the final step to becoming a horticulture production team leader?
This is where it all comes together.
Oh.
You're no longer just overseeing a team or a section. You're responsible for the entire operation's success.
Wow.
You're setting production goals, managing budgets, implementing strategies, and motivating your team to achieve those targets.
Wow, that's a huge responsibility, but also incredibly rewarding. I imagine knowing that you're playing a key role in, providing food, beautifying landscapes, maybe even contributing to research or conservation efforts.
Absolutely. It's about seeing the fruits of your labor,
Yeah.
watching your team thrive, and knowing you're making a tangible difference in the world. It's a challenging but ultimately fulfilling role.
So we've talked about the career ladder, but let's be real. It takes more than just a green thumb to climb it.
Right.
What are those essential skills that set a horticulture production team leader apart?
That's a great question, and it's something RoleCatcher really dives into. And trust me, some of these essential skills might surprise you.
Okay, let's dig into those essential skills. I'm really curious to hear what RoleCatcher highlights.
Well, they emphasize both hard skills and soft skills.
Okay.
And while having that solid foundation of plant knowledge is essential,
Right?
it's really those soft skills
Okay.
that can make or break a leader in this field.
That makes sense. You could have an encyclopedia's worth of plant knowledge.
Right.
But if you can't communicate effectively with your team,
Exactly.
things are going to fall apart pretty quickly.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not just about communication.
Right.
It's about conflict resolution,
Mm-hmm.
decision-making under pressure, delegation, time management.
Oh, wow.
The list goes on and on.
Those are skills that translate to almost any leadership role, but especially in a field as dynamic and demanding as horticulture.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's break it down a bit.
Okay.
What specific hard skills are we talking about beyond just,
Yeah.
knowing the difference between a weed and a wildflower?
Well, you mean a deep understanding of plant science,
Okay.
different propagation techniques,
Mm-hmm.
soil management, pest, and disease control.
Right.
It's not enough to just follow instructions.
Right.
You need that underlying knowledge to really solve problems.
Yeah.
And make informed decisions on the fly.
Right, because in the middle of a pest outbreak or a sudden frost,
Exactly.
you can't exactly call a timeout to go Google something.
You don't have time for that.
Right.
You're the one your team is looking to for guidance.
Right.
You're like the plant doctor,
Yeah.
diagnosing issues and coming up with treatment plans.
And just like a doctor, you need to stay up to date
Oh, absolutely.
on the latest advancements in your field.
For sure.
The horticulture industry is always evolving
Yeah,
with new technologies, research best practices.
absolutely. You need to be adaptable and a continuous learner.
Mm-hmm.
But even with all that knowledge,
Yeah,
you won't succeed without those crucial soft skills.
right.
RoleCatcher actually lists management of personnel resources
Oh, wow.
as a core competency.
I remember that really stood out to me, too. It
Yeah.
highlights how much of this role is about leading and inspiring people, not just managing plants.
You're responsible for creating a positive and productive work environment
Right.
where everyone feels valued and respected.
Yeah.
You're identifying individual strength,
Mm.
fostering teamwork, and navigating those inevitable interpersonal challenges that just come up
Oh, yeah.
in any workplace.
It's about creating a culture where everyone can thrive, both the plants and the people.
Absolutely.
Edit.
And let's not forget about problem-solving, critical thinking,
Mm-hmm.
and those split-second decisions you often need to make when you're dealing with,
Right.
living organisms.
Yeah, they don't always cooperate.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
A good horticulture production team leader is adaptable, resourceful, and calm under pressure.
That's quite a combination.
Yeah.
So for those listening who are serious about this career path,
Yeah.
what's the one piece of advice you would give them based on everything we've discussed?
I would say embrace the challenge.
Okay.
It's a demanding field, but it's incredibly rewarding for those with a passion for plants and a desire to lead.
I love it.
Focus on developing both your hard skills and your soft skills.
Right.
Never stop learning
Mm-hmm.
and seeking out new experiences.
Beautifully said. This deep dive has been incredibly eye-opening.
It has been fun.
And I hope it's given you a much clearer picture
I think so.
of what it takes to thrive as a horticulture production team leader. Remember, this is just the starting point.
Absolutely. Just the beginning.
There's a whole world of knowledge out there.
Mhm.
Keep researching, keep learning, and never lose that sense of wonder about the natural world.
That's what it's all about.
And who knows, maybe one day you'll be leading your own team,
Yeah.
inspiring others with your passion for plants and creating a greener, more beautiful future for us all.
Now that's something worth growing towards.
There. That's right. Until next time, happy gardening.
Happy gardening.